in the grand scheme of a career matter. It's a learning experience. But he learned something today. The two false starts and third time away is a learning experience, because you have to, recommit yourself every time the women's 5,000 is underway. So, Lockie, they certainly didn't run faster at the Sydney Olympics. Constance Quinteros won it, and then subsequently was disgraced, and as he should have been. So they didn't run faster than that. Frankie Fredericks was at the Sydney Track Classic, I think, or at Melbourne Track Classic, one of the two. His fastest time in Australia, so extraordinary. Women's 5,000, Jess Hull. We've got one more, and then we finish with a relay, but this is the last individual final, Mitch, and we've got a great field here. We've got the national record holder, we've got Jess Hull's returning, Lyndon Hall is in action as well. So a cavalcade of stars in the women's 5,000 final.
Yeah, we certainly do, and I think people forget Jess Hull. I mean, she won that national title back in 2023 there in the 5,000 metres. She's obviously been all over the world. She came from Kingston, Jamaica to come and roll into these national championships. There was no break in between either. She was just straight over here. So, look, she ran a really smart 1,500, didn't she? It wasn't the familiar stylings of Jess Hull we're used to. She said, I wanted to just sit at the back because I did not want anybody getting a toe from me. She was sort of sick of being that athlete maybe that led people through. She ran so strong and thought, why not come out here and run a 5K? Can I do the double? Don't see why she can't. She's one of the fastest we've ever seen over the distance. I know her dad, Simo, will be very happy watching on. She's the second fastest we've ever had. She held that record for nearly 4 years at 14:43 before Rose Davies came away last year and took it from her. So she's got that meet record here in 2023, Jess Hull. This will be going for her fourth title if she can get it. 2020, she took it. 2022, 2023. So if she can get this, she'll actually eclipse Benita Willis as the most titles in the 5,000 metres.
We talked about Rose Davies and that event in Tokyo. That's where she set that national record. Izzy Batt-Doyle was there in that golden Seiko meeting in Tokyo. It's 5 months to the World Championships. Do you want to go and watch Gout, the World Championships? Do you want to watch Jess Hull? Do you want to watch the rest of our Australian stars? Boy, oh boy. 5 months today to the World Championships in Tokyo. And Jess is, I love the fact that Jess comes back to run in these races. She's done it a couple of times where she's done the double, the 1,500, at a reasonably solid pace. Nothing super fast, but Izzy Batt-Doyle, of course, has been in tremendous form in marathon and half marathon, but she loves a track race as well. So she's leading them out, and she'll be happy to set a pretty solid clip here if she can.
Yeah, very talented athlete is Izzy Batt-Doyle. Obviously, really was in the mix to be on that marathon squad last year at the Olympics. Evidently ran on the track, so she really does have such great range, Izzy Batt-Doyle. Sitting really well behind her there, Morty Skyring as well. So made the most of her year last year, did Morty. She would love to be around that 15-minute marker, but to your point at the moment, David, is gone out a little bit slower than what that pace would suggest. So they're a little bit off that. Lyndon Hall got under 15 indoors this year too. Georgia Griffiths, our national record holder over the 3K, just sits in that 5th spot. Then Rose Davies, our national record holder in the 5K. Then Jess Hull, our national record holder in the 1,500. And Lauren Ryan, who holds a national record, I believe, in the 10K roads. So there's a lot of national record holders out there in this women's 5,000 metres. And they're all going to throw themselves around here and just really see where they lay out. It's a very, very well-paced line of athletes at the moment. Nobody really having to run any wider than they need to. They've all got a spot on the rail. Just look at that. That is a absolute world-class field of Australians just rolling through here on a Sunday afternoon in Perth. And looking really smooth even in that 3rd spot is Nat Rule. Now, she was on that Australian team in Eugene as well. So many, many, many Australian representatives will contest for this final.
I'll be liking the work that Izzy's doing out in front here. So you know that the pace is reasonable without being hectic when they're all strung out. And the big field, there's still athletes crossing the start-finish line as our leaders go down the back straight. So the pace is reasonably solid. And Izzy Batt-Doyle again just stretches away slightly as the sun is glistening on Jess's ponytail there. It's bobbing around as they go down the back straight. She'll be happy in that position for here. I think like Cam in the men's 5,000, just... it's a bit like the Melbourne Cup. You want to put your horse to sleep and go down the back and just save as much energy as you can for the sprint to the line. So she'll be happy here just to sit back in that group, along with a couple of the other chances. Still got 7 laps to go as they come down. I think it's 7. Might still be 8. Hasn't clicked over yet.
So when they roll around to that 200-metre mark, that'll be 2K into the race. So you're right here. It'll have 7.5 remaining from there. But Izzy Batt-Doyle doing a really good job to set the tempo. They probably move their way back to around 15-minute pace here. We'll get a really good reading of it, though, when they get to that 200-metre marker. So a slight fracture. Amy Robinson at the back of this leading group, we'll call it. Lauren Ryan behind Jess Hull, behind Rose Davies, Georgia Griffith, Lyndon Hall, Nat Rule, Morty Skyring, and Izzy Batt-Doyle. So a lot of these women will have competed as juniors, now obviously as seniors on both the global level and here in Australia. And they'll understand each other quite well, although some alternative race tactics. We see Rose Davies and Jess Hull just happily sit in the middle of this field. 6:02, so yeah, they're around it. They'll be probably under that 15 minutes by the time they get the kicks involved later on in this field. But for the meantime, setting a really nice tempo out in front is Izzy Batt-Doyle, who also has that staying power to be able to continue on with this. She's certainly not just leading this field out. She's doing what she does best in being able to control the race, control her tempo, and she's in a very, very smooth rhythm here at the moment. So a lot of the threats line up behind her, but one of the favourites happy to lead things out as that distance now back to the rest of this pack just starts to grow, and they're all just well strung out here. Holly Campbell, the last one on it.
So 7 to go, and we haven't seen a change of position for the last 3 or 4 laps, and I think maybe for another couple we won't see much either. You'd be pretty, if you're Georgia or Lyndon, they're in 3rd and 4th and 5th, Jess in 7th. Rose Davies stuck in the middle of all of them. You're just happy to maintain that pace for a little while, Mitch. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you'd be very happy if you Rose Davies, Jess Hull, Georgia Griffith, the likes of those women right now. Even Lyndon Hall, she was sub-15 this year, as I said, over in Boston in the US. So, look, these women will be very happy with this. They don't have to do much of the work. They can just sit back, feel the tempo. For someone like Jess, who clearly probably wasn't wanting it necessarily hot from the start, although she has the capabilities to roll with it, she gets some time here now to just work her way into this 5K, similar to sort of what we saw Cam Myers do in the men's 5K. He got up for silver, but are you waiting for your Seth Kennedy? You're waiting for your big kicker towards the end, or sorry, Seth O'Donnell. There's 2 super sets, but look, is he doing a really good job here, Dave? There's a slight fraction. Melody Skyring happy to roll with it. Now we see a little change. So Lyndon, Georgia, then it's going to be Rose, and then Jess, you think just get around Nat Rule, and that fracture goes back there a little bit to Lauren Ryan. She's quick to react, though. She's going to be back on it.
Yeah, so Natalie Rule is the one that's going backwards there, in just dropping off the back of that lead group, so perhaps just a slight injection of extra speed, and maybe it's Morty Skyring that's contemplating taking over out in front. Round of applause you can hear is because Gout is walking around in front of the crowd, and he's still enjoying the applause of that exciting 1984. So no change in front. Thought Morty might go to the lead there for a second, but she's happy to stay behind Izzy Batt-Doyle, Lyndon Hall, and Georgia Griffith, Rose Davies, Jess Hull. I think she'll continue to just stay at the back there, Mitch, and bide her time. 5 to go. And they come down past the start-finish.
Yeah, well, if it's not urgent, you might as well wait. So she's more than happy to just let this field roll away. So Izzy Batt-Doyle doing a really good job. It's a bit of a strange one. She's got a small gap. It's not big enough to warrant any concern, but also nobody immediately behind her that can check her stride. So Izzy Batt-Doyle leads it out from Morty Skyring. Lyndon Hall, Georgia Griffith, just a real strong competitor across multiple distances is Georgia Griffith. She's our national record holder in the 3K. She did that brilliantly over in Europe last year. Jess Hull right behind Rose Davies, who was obviously our Olympic finalist in the 5,000 metres last year. Did such a brilliant job just outside that top 10. National record holder. So it just feels like year after year this event continues to grow. There was a period for a long time we were waiting for our first sub-15. We've now got 8 women under that marker. And I think the likes of Morty Skyring would love to include her name on that list as she sits there in second in the middle of a very, very quality group behind. So They make their way down this home straight. You can see it's 4 laps on here. And they're rolling around at a pretty decent clip. They'll be around that 15 minutes at the moment, but you imagine that it is going to get faster. They'll continue to ramp this up. You can actually see it now. It's starting to get a little bit faster. It's Lauren Ryan who feels that pinch first. Campbell doing her best to sit on the back of Jess Hull, but have a look at this, Dave. It's metronomic at the moment, isn't it? They all know what each other's capable of, and everybody wants to be there for whoever it is that makes the big move.
Well, they're all good at pace judgment, but possibly the best one is the one that's out in front, Izzy Batt-Doyle, because the marathon runners know exactly how to tick off consecutive kilometres at the right pace when you're running 42 and 0.195 of them in a marathon. You get very good at that pace judgment, and we are shelling a few off the back, so it's just, I don't know if it's been an increase in pace, although the cadence looks a little faster here from Izzy. It's more just grinding them out lap after lap after lap at the same pace that's making it a little tough for the ones that are at the back.
Well, I get the sense now that Izzy's really going to start to ramp things up here. Like, to your point, it's been that slow increase. It feels like that gap just opens up, closes down, opens up, closes down.
Movement at the station, Mitch.
As Rose Davies now moves around. So here we go. Now she just pulls straight back up, doesn't she? So she did what she needed to do to get into second. She'll be very familiar with how Izzy Batt-Doyle runs, and now she's in that second spot. Morty Skyring goes back to third. Griffo sits there in fourth. And then it's Lyndon Hall. Jess Hull now just finds herself out from the back of this leading group. So what a group of 6 we have here out in front at the moment. And they're all going to be chopping and changing, putting themselves in their ideal positions. That's what they're looking for. They would have had a game plan, to your point. What we saw earlier, you have A, B, C, D, E, F as far down the list as you can go on how you want to run this race. But they're grouping up. It's Georgia Griffith now, just on that shoulder of Morty Skyring, who's tough. She'll always grit her teeth and give herself every opportunity to contest. But the only position that really hasn't changed at the moment is Izzy Batt-Doyle out in front. That's because it's hard to get around her. She's continuing to push this tempo.
Well, it was an interesting move from the defending champion and national record holder Rose Davies, maybe just to make sure that everyone knew that she was in the race and she's the one to beat as the national champion, the defending champion. She moved up, looked like she was going to go straight past, and then just decided, no, I'll just sit here. But we are bunched as we come down, and we'll have 2 laps to go in the women's 5,000 title. There's just a little cat and mouse, and is Jess going to go? Goes up, doesn't go to the front. It's still Izzy. 2 to go.
800 metres remaining here, and this is where the racing really begins. It's the first time we've really seen argy-bargy. You usually see it to find a spot in the opening 400, not so much to find a position in the closing 800. So Izzy Batt-Doyle leads things out. The national record holder in Rose Davies sits in third. Our 1,500 metre national record holder is in fourth, and our 3,000 metre national record holder is in fifth. Here's Morty Skyring. Oh, it's a game of surges here up the back straight at the moment. I want to stay on the rail. I don't want to be caught in this group, and just playing a little bit of cat and mouse at the back at the moment is Lyndon Hall, who's happy to watch them yo-yo in front of her. So Izzy Batt-Doyle continues to lead. Then it's Rose queuing up behind her. Then is Jess Hull, Georgia Griffith behind her. Morty Skyring on the rail and Lyndon Hall. It's very hard to separate them at the moment, but the move will be made at some point.
There's 6 athletes and there's 3 metres. That's how tightly they are bunched as they come down 500 metres to go. Who's going to go first? Who's going to have the courage to spurt to the lead? Up on the inside, Morty Skyring has found a way through. Rose Davies takes over as they come down with 1 lap to go. Jess is there.
And now they're ramping it up here. So Morty Skyring, can she really do something special and take the legs out of the elite women behind her there? Rose Davies very quick to respond with 350. Jess Hull following. Georgia Griffith on the inside. Lyndon Hall reattaching, and Izzy Batt-Doyle, who was so strong through the opening stages, in fact, really until the bell now, just finds herself out the back of this group. But up the back straight, it's Rose Davies, the national record holder for this event. Has some company with Jess Hull. Next one through there, Morty Skyring doing everything she can to try and hold on. Here comes Georgia Griffith. She was the national 3,000 metre champion this year. She's our record holder. Oh, the 3 record holders are away. Lyndon Hall will try and chase them down, but here it is. It's an all-out pursuit for the national title. Number 4 awaits Jess Hull. Number 2 for, here we go, Rose Davies. It's Georgia Griffith out wide, but Jessica Hull in front. Griffith starting to lift. Jessica Hull, Georgia Griffith. Hull makes it 4, the best we've seen at Nationals. 15:02 for Jess Hull. Bided her time to perfection. Georgia Griffith gets up for the silver. Rose Davies strong. Morty Skyring did everything to get on that podium. And Lyndon Hall too. That was a race for the ages at these national championships. Make it 4 for Jess Hull, the only woman in Australian history to have that many.
And she's broken her championship record. So the 15:05.87 from 2023 is consigned to the rubbish bin. And that is a winning double once again for Jessica Hull. An entertaining race. Drinks are on Izzy Batt-Doyle for setting the way for much of the race. And then it was on with 500 to go. The defending champion Rose Davies did everything she could. But the wheels of Hull and then Griffith, who looked like she was closing and was going to get there, but well, it's hard to get past Jess Hull.